So, guys, I'm here with Mike D. Mike D is the bass player for a band called Malicide in the US. And I did a album review on their album. I kind of found it randomly and I liked what I was hearing. So I actually reached out to him earlier and then I did an album review and you can find that here on our channel. And thought it would be good to catch up a little bit, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. You tell me a little bit, because your band is, you released one album, so you're not world famous yet. Can you give a very brief background of the band? Who are you guys and where you're from and so on?
The core of the band from day one has really kind of always been myself, Michael Silas, and Sean Roberts. However, we've always had a second guitar player. Like that position has kind of been sort of like a revolving door throughout the years. I'm not really sure why, but it's just the way it's kind of worked out. Basically, I think at one point in time we had two additional guitar players. We basically had three guitar players, including Michael Silas in the band. And then I think at one point in time we actually experimented with having a different guy as a singer, but that ended up not working out. So essentially, what ends up happening one day is we go around, we end up playing some shows, and most of the shows that we play are like, we're basically the opening act, right? So we would be the opening act for like other bands, say like Devil Driver, Guar, bands like that. And that was pretty successful. We had a lot of, we had a lot of fun doing that, and a lot of people really liked what they were hearing. And essentially, what had happened is at one point in time, we'd kind of broken up briefly, and as exactly as to why we broke up, it was just at that time, man. I think there was a little too much sex, drugs, and rock and roll going on, and things kind of just ended up disintegrating. But later on, we sort of ended up kind of like getting back in touch and getting back together, and we got back together at one of the original guitar players' houses. That was our new like rehearsal space in his basement. And at that point, like basically the sound had gotten a lot heavier. We kind of started off as very very like Guns N' Roses, kind of like Welcome to the Jungle type stuff, but now like everything had gotten
And
much heavier.
What's the influence for that? Because when I listen to the album, it kind of it melts into kind of like I don't know, Megadeth, Pantera style. Like are these bands your influences now? Like or like
it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I would probably say they're influences in a certain sense. I think everybody who's in the band is a big fan of those bands, for sure. Whether they're a direct influence or not, I kind of couldn't really tell you. I think it's more like we just wanted to do music that was heavy yet musical, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of stuff out there that's very heavy, but it's very harsh.
Yeah, no, I totally, Mike, I totally get what you mean, because I think actually you captured it by saying it like this. It's heavy, but it's still music. It's still like translatable. You can hear very clearly what's going on and all that.
Yeah, and I think that I think sort of doing it that way is kind of like the way that we just kind of wanted to do it. I don't think it was necessarily like a particular band that had influenced us, but it was more like, we like a lot of the harder stuff, we like a lot of the metal stuff, but like for some of us, it's like, okay, some of it is just kind of too, harsh, and you can't listen to it for too long without it just kind of getting either repetitive or just kind of like, needing to give your ears a break after a certain amount of time. Right. So one of the things we noticed too is like, when we do these opening shows and stuff, man, people really, did like to hear stuff that that still had some, some musical elements in it, and wasn't just all like blast beats and percussive sort of guitar riffs. People wanted to hear riffs, they wanted to hear hooks, they wanted to hear choruses and things like that, and that stuff went over really well with a lot of the crowds that we were playing with. So I think in a lot of ways it just kind of seemed sort of like the natural thing to do, at least for us. But I think too I think too that when you sit down and you go to write an album or to put a bunch of songs together or something, you want to have something that essentially can pull people in, emotionally. And if it's too if it's too harsh, if they can't understand all the lyrics, if there's no hooks, I think that's a lot harder to do.
Yeah, that's true. But tell me, Mike, like, because I've kind of added your album to my kind of regular routine of playlist, and everyone that I have actually shown it to loves it. I got some feedback on. I did this YouTube video covering the album and so on. I got a lot of feedback on that as well, and it was all positive. And I posted it in some Facebook groups even, and it was the same there. People were like, "Yeah, this is cool stuff." So how is it? What are you guys doing now? Have you been doing some shows, or are you on the way to do some shows, or any new music or anything?
Well, yeah, we've actually been doing a few shows. We did one a few weeks ago. We opened for Wednesday 13 in San Antonio, Texas, and that was definitely a good show. And then we did sort of like a little like it ended up kind of being like a little meet and greet event with some other celebrities and some other rock people, specifically Tony Moran, who played Michael Myers in the original Halloween movie, and Sherry Curie, who is the lead singer of the 1970s band The Runaways. And we're definitely going to be doing some more of that sort of stuff next year. We've got a few things lined up. I can't say too much, but we may be doing something with one of the people from Slipknot. I can't reveal too much just yet because it's still in the very early planning stages. But if we do that, it's going to be it'll be a big event at a very large venue. So it'll be something that definitely people are going to come out and check out. And then we have a few other things we're working on as well. I mean, I think the big thing that people would be interested in is there going to be a new album next year? And all I can say to that right now is maybe. We do have some other songs written. In fact, I even have a demo of one of them. And maybe over the next few months or something, I'll sort of maybe give a little sneak peek of that or something like that. Maybe I'll leak something. If you follow us on social media, you can be the first to hear it. But we are working on new stuff always. We've also got some new multimedia and things like that coming out. Probably going to have some new merch and things like that, like some new T-shirts and stuff. One of the things with stuff like that is it just takes time, to develop. And we do everything ourselves. So it's going to be one of those deals where probably sometime next year we'll have all this stuff out. In the meantime, I think if people like what they hear, give us a follow, and even on our website we got a newsletter you can sign up for, and those sort of things we usually will announce whatever it is we're doing, whatever it is we're up to on there. So that,
yeah, and I will put links to your social media and all that stuff in the description of this episode, and guys, I mean, definitely check out Malicide. It's I was really like a breath of fresh air, I would have to say, but I get it. I mean, it's a lot of work, like to promote this stuff and to move on.
Sure.
Okay, Mike, I think it's 9 o'clock in the morning with you. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me. And you probably have to go and do something more productive than chatting with me.
Listen, any. I mean, I'm down for any interview, any chat, anytime, basically. As long as I'm sober, conscious, and awake. So that's.
Okay, that sounds good. So Mike, I thank you very much for this.